So welcome everyone to Japan and welcome to Tokyo. We are here in the middle of downtown to give you an introduction to this market and to FCA Japan. Behind me you see the world famous Tokyo Tower, and over here you see our FCA Japan offices. Alright, so welcome upstairs to our FCA Japan offices. Why don't we take a tour together and I'll show you around. Okay, what you're seeing here is the main area of our offices. We've tried to make this a bright and collaborative space for people to enjoy. Here in this particular area we have around 100 people working together. Alright, so it's me again. So I'm now going to give you a little bit of an introduction to Japan, the car market here, and to our company, FCA Japan. Let's start with Japan, a beautiful, exciting country that is really characterized by contrasts from natural beauty to sprawling cities. Japan as a country, size-wise, is roughly the size of Germany. It's a little bit larger than the UK, a little bit larger than Italy. And if we want a reference in the US, you can remember that Japan is slightly smaller than California. The climate in Tokyo is almost exactly the same as that in Shanghai, but in the northern island of Hokkaido you have much heavier winters that bring beautiful snow and fantastic skiing. Whereas in the south, in the islands of Okinawa, we have tropical climate the year around, where you can swim and enjoy the sun 365 days a year. So truly diverse country. The population of Japan currently stands at 125 million people, roughly. It's a very homogeneous population. 99% of people are born in Japan are Japanese citizens. So much about Japan. So let's talk about the car industry. Japan is the third largest car market in the world after China and the United States. And instead of rambling on and give you a lot of data about the market, I will highlight a couple of things that I think are interesting and that are unique to the Japanese auto market. First, it's very much a domestic market. 94% of cars bought are domestic vehicles, with foreign brands accounting for only 6% of sales. This is the smallest share of foreign brands in any market in the world. Secondly, if we look at the segments, we can see a couple of interesting points. The first one is that a third of the market is comprised by the K-car segment. So what is that? Well, the K-car segment was established after the war as a way of providing affordable transportation in the rural areas where there was not adequate public transportation. K-cars are very small, they have to be fit a certain size of length and width, and the engines can be maximum 660 cubic centimeters. Then we have a fourth of the market is hatchbacks, and this is dominated by the domestic hybrids, the Toyota Prius being the largest nameplate in this segment. The other interesting thing about the segment is the size of the MPV segment. 1 in 5 vehicles sold is a minivan, and that has to do with the fact that most people only have space for one car, and so if they have family, they will choose a car that is practical for family use. The SUV segment is 10%, but growing like in most other countries, whereas the traditional sedan and station wagon markets combined only account for 10%, a share that continues to shrink. If we look at powertrains, you will find another very interesting aspect of this market, and that is that almost 40% of cars sold are hybrid. Again, there is no other market in the world that has such a high penetration of hybrid vehicles like Japan. The diesel segment is rather small and has only appeared over the last 5-10 years. Currently stands at 5%, will probably grow to 10%, but not more. One segment that is also relatively young is electric vehicles. Currently 1% of the market is electric vehicles, so it's not a large share, but the sheer number is quite large, and it's a segment that is destined for growth. The last item that characterizes this market is that 98% of vehicle comes with automatic transmissions. Only 2% of cars sold are sold with the manual transmission, and it's primarily sports cars. So let's look at the players in the market. As you can see, Toyota is absolutely dominant with sales of over 1.4 million passenger cars in 2016. Nissan and Honda are battling for the number 2 position, with the other domestic manufacturers Mazda, Subaru, Suzuki, Mitsubishi and Lexus at substantially lower sales. What is interesting is that the largest foreign brand, Mercedes-Benz, sell roughly the same amount of vehicles as the smallest domestic brand, which is Lexus. Now let's go a little bit deeper and study the foreign players here in Japan. So, as I mentioned, the largest single brand in the market is Mercedes-Benz, but in terms of group presence, BMW with Mini is the largest player in the market. Every year around 300,000 foreign cars are sold here. Remember the 6% market share. Out of the 300,000, more than 60% are German vehicles. And you will see on the graph that FCA is the largest non-German importer in this market, well ahead of players like Volvo, the PSA Group, Porsche, Jaguar Land Rover, etc. Okay, so now I'd like to spend a little bit of time to tell you about our company, about FCA Japan. Our group has been present in Japan for nearly 30 years. The Fiat Group was established here through a national sales company in 1990, and the Chrysler side came to Japan in 1988 through a joint venture. The two entities, the Italian and the American entities, lived separate lives until 2012, when we integrated our operations, and that's when we moved into these offices and started working as one team. Then, in January 1st of 2015, FCA Japan was established as a single legal entity, NSC for the group here in Japan. We are presently located in our Mita headquarters in downtown Tokyo, and 50 kilometers south of here in the city of Yokohama, we have our parts distribution center, where we handle all the parts that we deal with in this market. And if we go further south, about 250 kilometers, near the city of Nagoya, and on the ocean, we have our vehicle preparation center. Here we receive all the vehicles, whether they come from Europe, from the United States, or from India. We receive the vehicles, we inspect them, we prepare them, and we ship out to all our dealers nationwide, mostly by truck, but also by ship to our distant dealers. Adjacent to our vehicle preparation center, we also have our own exclusive training center, where we have classrooms and workshops. The training center is very busy, and we conduct dealer training here approximately 200 days per year. Our organization is a fairly standardized one for a national sales company. We have 125 people working here, mostly permanent employees, 2/3 men, 1/3 women, with an average age of 47 years, which is exactly the national average for the population. With an attrition ratio of less than 10%, our team is quite stable, and one of the things that I think brings us all together is a genuine interest for cars and great passion and pride in the brands we deal with. Now I'd like to speak to you about our network, about our distribution structure in Japan. We have 3 distinctive distribution channels or franchises. We have one European premium franchise dedicated to the Alfa Romeo brand. We have a separate franchise that deals with Fiat and Abarth, what we call our Italian lifestyle brands. And then thirdly, we have a premium SUV channel that handles sales of Jeep. Interesting to know that all of our roughly 200 dealers in Japan are independently operated. So I just want to give you a quick flavor of our distribution. First, we have our Alfa Romeo network, beautiful new dealerships that are actually under development to represent the premium and the characteristic of the Alfa Romeo brand. Then we have our Fiat Abarth dealerships. These are much brighter, these are fun, friendly dealerships, and each of them have specific areas dedicated to Abarth. We take the Abarth very seriously in Japan, and we want to make sure that all the customers who come in get a real sense of the Abarth brand. Lastly, we have our beautiful Jeep channel. We have been busy over a couple of years to transition this network from an American multi-franchise network selling Dodge, Chrysler and Jeep to these beautiful exclusive dealerships that focus entirely on the Jeep brand. Now I'd like to wrap up this introduction to Japan and to our company by sharing with you our sales figures. We have been very fortunate over recent years to enjoy good growth in our sales. In 2011, our cumulative sales exceeded 10,000 units for the first time, and in 2016 we reached our next milestone, exceeding 20,000 units for the first time. And as you can see, we haven't stopped there. We continue to grow, and we're very excited about the prospects for the FCA Group continuously in Japan. Now you will hear introductions from our various departments. Please enjoy that.
Human resources and general affairs, every little help.
We are finance team, Mugen team.
After sales, customer services.
Customer service is an attitude, not a department.
Nothing will stop us.
We have all you need, 24/7.
We are a logistic team, delivering the excitement.
We commit 100% result.
FCA Japan PR team, from small team, big publicity.
We are network development team. We are all big network.
We do lobbying, not marketing.
All right, so that wraps up our presentation of Japan and of FCA Japan. Thank you very much for stopping by to see us. Take care, bye-bye, sayonara.